And so what I'm saying is it's almost like in the beginning of this, when you're looking for like your seed round,
Mm.
you will go pitch to people without as much preparatory material because you never know what they're going to ask. And pitching is about intentionality and excitement about your product.
Yeah.
The amount of times people got excited about the product and the confidence that I brought about it because it was backed by data completely outweighed and completely overshadowed any necessity for the formalities relative to VC style pitch decks or
Hmm.
funding, budgeting, all this stuff, right? Like because it's such an early phase company thing. I think that now what I've seen more than anything is that anytime I've shown more material rather than less material, they don't care. They want to see the product focused on the right places. And maybe that's incredibly unique because what we do at my company is a unique space. Um, but I mean, everybody's trying to be unique. So I don't know how actually specific and special that is to my situation. I think that if you are confident in your products and you're confident in your strategy and you do not pigeonhole yourself as much, you can really captivate your audience in a way that conveys the excitement that you have about what you're doing. And
Yeah.
that's more contagious than a VC style pitch deck. And that's really what's going to sell them on it rather than slides.
100%. Like it really comes down to like if you know what you're talking about, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, if you're excited about the thing, be excited about it. Show them why, and then like you said before, if you don't know an answer to it, or you're like, oh man, maybe we haven't thought about that yet. Tell them that. Just tell them
Yeah.
like, and tell them, hey, we're open to considering something like that.
And
I
in that
mean,
point right there, a lot of
yeah.
people they don't know. And that's the key right there. Jacob, if you focus on that and you say, I don't know, but here's an option and here's another option, you actually give them some imagination with you, right? It makes
Let them
them
see the vision.
strategize with you and it makes them feel like they're part of this already. And that right there, that openness to say, I'm not sure, but here's an option. Here's an option. We've thought about this. What do you think about that? And it's like, look, people are going to say no. People
Yeah.
say no. And it's like, if they say no, does it matter? No. You're going to learn something from that. And by the way,
Hmm.
you can rope people in after the fact because, I've been thinking about that. I would like to think about this more with you. I mean, I think that folks across the aisle, VC style folks, they want an exit eventually at some point. They want answers, but like they're still humans and
Hmm.
you need to go to venture back funding instead of an angel investment. You can still get them excited about this and you can actually extend your runway of time before they start asking for an exit, simply because you've gotten them excited in the journey and the process itself. And that'll give you a bit more time to develop your product further if you need to, or to switch gears if you need to. And one thing that's important about all that is be transparent. Say all that. I think that business folks are scared to say stuff, and it's like you look worse when you act like you don't have an answer, or you don't want to talk about an answer in the moment instead of just being honest about it. Just
Yes.
just say the thing instead of don't say the thing. And it's amazing what happens when you do that.
I love it. Oh my gosh. All right. Jimmy, thank you so much for coming on the show today. We have really we have really run the gambit today. We've covered, I mean, business, baseball, CRISPR, all kinds of fun stuff. So I mean, last couple of questions here. So, if anybody wants to connect or get to learn more about you, where can they find you, and what's kind of on the horizon for your company Arctos for 2025?
Yeah, so you can go to arctos.bio. That's us, ARKTOS.bio. And at the bottom it says tell us what you need. It's pretty simple. You click on it and you can send us an email.
Mm-hmm.
What we're focused on is, we're an early phase company too. We're a
Yeah.
young company, but we've made a lot of traction relative to a quasi manufacturing, focus point. I think the best way to put us is that we are a quasi contract manufacturing organization. We focus on very very challenging targets. We do sell Cas9 and CRISPR-Cas system products. Those are challenging because of how hard they are to purify. Our focus in the rest of this year is to ensure that the customers that we have are met with what they want relative to their initial requests, because some of these are challenging targets and we want to make sure that they have enough time and to validate their products. But then
Mm-hmm.
ultimately, we want to make sure that we're not scaling too fast. We've been really amazed by how much traction we've gained in this short period of time. And that's just because we've reached out to folks and we've been very intentional about who we want as customers. So if I
Mm,
make a protein for you, we want to make sure that it makes sense for the scale that you're going to be at, and for us to be really effective. We've kind of learned a bit more about where we fit into that market,
mm-hmm.
which is larger place than where we thought before. Um, Meaning that the companies that we're working with are a bit larger than we anticipated, which is great. Um, we're really, really about right now focused on making sure that it's one step at a time. It gets overwhelming when you have so much going on in a business early. You want to do everything, right?
Yeah.
Well, you want to make sure that you don't do everything all at once. You want to be
Mm-hmm.
very, very focused on the next stepping stone. And, as much as it is important to have, insight into, what you want to do in the future, you have to make sure that you still get the wins currently. And so right now it's just about making sure that the team is and me personally are always aligned with what's the next step. And we've got a, series of plans that are long term, but that long term series of plans for contracts that'll run for years must be solidified by short term focus. And so the way that we have allocated our time is, 75% focused on the current and then 25% of the future. And that might change a bit as it goes. But I think that shift in early phase companies needs to consistently every week in some cases be looked at.
Yeah.
It's like, how much time am I investing into the future without fortifying the present? And
Mm,
if the present is being too much too fortified, right? Then you don't have a growth, plan for the future. And so that's a juxtaposition all the time. And I think we're staying focused on getting some of our early phase contracts completed, which we have been on time, and ensuring that the quality of our products is always there. Because we're a younger company, we want to make sure that everybody recognizes that it's going to happen over and over and over again. And we're going above and beyond to ensure that at the moment.
I love it, man. I love it. Well, I mean, I feel like you're kind of talking about working in your business versus working on your business, right? I mean, we've talked about it on the show before, but to Jimmy, thank you again for coming on. This has been an absolutely fantastic conversation. Thank you again. And thank you guys for joining us on this episode of PDP, and we will see you guys next time.